Frank is the President and Chief Tourism Officer of Visit Kingsport, which is a part of the Chamber of Commerce. Frank brought part of his team here today, and he'll introduce them. But I can say a few words about the team because on several occasions while I was mayor, they asked me to participate in various things on behalf of the Visit Kingsport. And it's a great team. It really is a great team. They always put Kingsport in the best light, and they bring all kinds of visitors here. And Frank's going to talk about that. Frank is a native Tennessean. He attended Pellissippi State, where he graduated with an associate degree. He went on to UT and graduated there. He did a full-time internship with the Amateur Athletic Union, the AAU, and then was hired full-time by them. From AAU, he went on to become the Director of Operations of the United States Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association. In September 2005, Frank came back to Tennessee, where he accepted a position with Visit Kingsport as Director of Sports. So he's been promoted twice within the organization, rising to his current position as the President and Chief Tourism Officer. Frank's going to talk about all the things they do. You all know Fun Fest and many things. And did you know, on behalf of the city, Visit Kingsport actually manages Hunter Wright Stadium and is the official owner of the Kingsport Axemen baseball team. Frank is currently an officer of Play Tennessee, an organization that he helped found. It's a statewide sports tourism alliance. He's also the chairman of the board for the Sports Events and Tourism Association, a national professional organization with 1,000 plus members. He's vice president of the Kingsport Community Foundation, which does great work in our community. His wife is Sarah. He's got a daughter named Blakely. And please give a big Kiwanis welcome for Frank.
Okay. I got this on.
It's on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, Dave Light, you can give Bob Figgins a run for his money on that prayer. That was amazing. I'm also want to recognize a couple folks. Pat Breeding back there, who serves on the Visit Kingsport Council. We appreciate your support. And our newest member, my newest friend, Zane Vanover, Commissioner Vanover. Thank you. And a lot of you all know what we do and some of the things. And what I'm going to do today is, I'm glad that they were having a budget session for BMA, because they've seen a lot of this and they would have heckled me. Instead, I brought the team to heckle me. So I'm going to introduce them real fast, and a couple of them are going to speak in a few minutes. But first, Chelsea Ketchern, our Director of Marketing. You may know Chelsea's mom. You might have wrote a tax check to her. Jeannie Gammon, the county clerk, previous county clerk. Lara Potter, our Vice President, the one who makes everything happen. Emily Thompson, Director of Fun Fest and Special Events. And Ashley Klein, who helps with Fun Fest and also our marketing efforts and special events. So they'll talk to you in a few minutes. We didn't bring any prizes, but did anybody know where that picture is up there? John Campbell knew it right off. I saw him. Let's see if this works. Uh-oh, I may have to. Okay, can you click her? Thank you. Okay, a lot of you may know he's got all the answers to this because he helped make all this happen so many years ago. But under Visit Kingsport, all of these things report up through us, or we make them happen. Fun Fest, obviously, if you don't know about Fun Fest and you're in this room, you probably just moved here. Moved to Kingsport. I know Jeff came and spoke to you guys a few weeks ago. We couldn't be more fortunate to have Jeff as part of our team as well. And we only have one of Jeff's slides in here because I know you've all seen them here recently, but just so that we touch on them. Robin Cleary, our Director of Downtown Kingsport Association, lives in our family. And then on behalf of the city, we operate Kingsport's Red, White, and Boom, which is the Independence Day celebration. And then also the Twilight of Life concert series. Emily handles both of those for us. And then we also purchased 6 years ago Racks by the Tracks, and we own and operate that event as well. Okay, this is where we get to the fun stuff. This is what most people think about when they go on vacation. Always at the BMA, I always say, this is what Dennis Phillips and James Phillips look like when they go on vacation. And if you all know them, that's kind of exactly what happens. That's not what a tourist looks like in Kingsport. You think about tourism and you think about going on vacation, and people do come here on vacation. But this is more of what it looks like in Kingsport. So we do have hiking and biking and all the beautiful scenery. But Pat knows about the International Pageants Association. We've hosted them for 6 years. This will be the 6th year coming up. Happens in July. Right now, as we sit, we've got at 2 o'clock the semifinal games start for the Appalachian Athletic Conference men's and women's basketball at Meadowview. They started on Wednesday, quarterfinals yesterday, semifinals today, and that's a picture from a couple years ago in the top right-hand corner there. And then the wrestling that we've had in Kingsport for over 25 years, the youth wrestling, that takes place in usually middle to late March, early April. And then in the bottom right there is the Doberman's Association of America. And last year we hosted 6 dog associations in Kingsport. And a lot of that is due, once pandemic started, we had to change how we thought about a recruiting business. Corporate travel slowed down. It's still not back to where it was. So Lara and the team at Meadowview said, what can we go get and what's still happening? And some of you may have participated in some of the things or broad associations, and Lara's going to talk about that. But we really got hot and heavy into the dog business and to the car show business. And this year we have, it's on here. I'm not going to skip it. It's on the list. So what this presentation was for the BMA and what I want to hit on with you guys a little bit is a little more of a business case of what we do and a little less fluff. This is last year's kind of a highlight of our events last year. I'm going to talk about the impact and how those numbers work. And then later in the presentation, we'll talk about what we have coming up in a new initiative. You can see the list of things there. Mate World Championships is a huge event. We're working on having that here on a regular basis, but we had over 1,000 people from across the world participate in Kingsport at the Aquatic Center. Huge event for us. That second one, we're just going to say SSSAAP. If you worked at Eastman, you probably know what that is. We had their conference here. That was a Bring It to Kingsport initiative that Lara's going to talk more about those in a minute. Portuguese Water Dogs, International Pageants, we already talked about. American Planners Association, we work with Jessica Harmon on that. All of our sports events, I won't list all of those because they go on and on. And then our last item there with special events, Fun Fest, Racks by the Tracks, Red, White, and Boom, Wing Fling, DK's Wine and Whiskey Festival. Those are all, not all of our events, but a highlight of those. I think on the next slide, this has all the events summarized here. But in 2024, we had over 30 groups and meetings, over 40 sports events from youth and amateur sports across the board, from wrestling, all the ball and bat sports, basketball. The list goes on and on. We do probably about 15 youth baseball tournaments a year in conjunction with USSSA. So a lot of events, but you can see the economic impact that it brings. And that's just from 2 segments of what we do. It goes on. We could talk for hours about it, but just kind of give you a highlight of what it looks like. Sullivan County, those sheets you have, we'll have those on a slide in a second, but the important things there are Sullivan County ranks 11th out of 95 counties in Tennessee, which we don't really want to be in the top 5 or 6 because they operate under a different set of rules, and we don't want to be at the bottom. We're kind of right. I heard Jeff Fleming say, not too big, not too small, just right. We're just right in that tourism standpoint across the state. You can see these numbers on there, $340 million in direct visitor spending in the county. The number of jobs, Mayor Scholl knows this very well. Tourism is the 2nd largest industry in the state of Tennessee, only behind agriculture. Zane, don't tell them we're really actually bigger than agriculture, but don't tell our Farm Bureau buddies that, okay? We like to eat. We like to eat. And then tourism, created over $13 million in local revenue and $21 million in sales tax in Sullivan County in 2023, I think, actually. This is the 23 snapshot. We'll get the 24 numbers in September at the Governor's Conference on Tourism, which guess where it's hosted in 2025? Kingsport, Tennessee. So we'll have over 600 of our colleagues from across the state here this fall. You know, the gray box on this slide and the next one are probably the most important to you. We rank 11 out of 95 counties. You guys can, landladies can look at those numbers. This one's my favorite one. Everyone should be very happy about this. Because of tourism, it saves everyone $519 on their taxes annually. If it was not for tourism, we would all pay more in taxes because of the amount of sales tax generated to operate the city and county. Talked about kind of a business case for what we do. You saw those numbers that were reported from the Department of Tourism. They gained those numbers with a company called Tourism Economics and also the Department of Revenue. Kind of a side story here. Our commissioner, Commissioner Ezell, the first time in the Governor Lee's first year, he went and presented his case. I forgot, David Hawk knows his stuff very well too, and one of our biggest champions in Nashville. David knows that the commissioner came and presented this, and a lot of legislators, probably some of the ones that are naysayers, were like, yeah, right. Where'd you get these numbers? So the next year he went back and said, you know what, I'll get them from our own Department of Revenue. And then if you don't believe them, that's another battle to go fight. So Commissioner Ezell made a good point, went and got that. And so these numbers are in conjunction with the Department of Revenue and Tourism Economics, which is basically the gold standard in tourism numbers across the world. We also partner with STR, Smith Travel Research. Believe it or not, is a Tennessee company in Hendersonville, Tennessee. They collect hotel data from around the world, from Kingsport, Tennessee to Thailand. All of the revenue, or all the revenue reports for hotels, goes through Smith Travel Research. We get that, and it gives us a checks and balances of what is happening activity-wise in Kingsport, and then also, most importantly, to John and Jeff and Chris now, how that lodging tax is collected and reported, and then also the sales tax that can be linked back to that. Zartico and Placer AI is something we participate with Advanced Travel and Tourism. Zartico, Placer AI is kind of like Buxton. If you've ever heard Jeff talk about Buxton or any of the other city officials, you can use Buxton to track Visa, like your Visa card. When you spend money, they know where you live. Those two programs, they do that, and they can also track your cell phone activity. And when you've landed in a new city, or if you've been geo-fenced property, like if we geo-fenced a Meadowview, we can go in and look at a certain time frame and tell you where all the people who walked in there are from, or at least where they pay their cell phone bill to. But we do the research on those reports to think about when, and this is Chelsea's wheelhouse, but where we need to market Kingsport to know where our visitors are coming from. So a lot of times you may not see the advertising that we do here locally because you live here. You're not going to visit Kingsport. We want that to be going out to where people are looking at Kingsport and wanting to move here or visit here. This is new. We were just named this week. That's Emily was there, her and Ashley. We got the Bronze Award for Santa's Depot at the Southeast Festivals and Events Association, and FunFest was named Festival of the Year, which is a big deal. Also at our Regional Tourism Awards this past year in May, we won awards for those 6 items. We won the Pinnacle Award for Best Long Video, Best Commercial, Best Virtual Series, Best Rack Card, Best Print Ad, and the Roll With It campaign. We'll continue to participate in all of those things and try to win those awards. Do you want to do this one, Emily, or do you want, since you're here? Okay. Just a kind of a quick recap of last year by the numbers. 80 events, 5 new events, 1,600 rides on the carousel during FunFest. Everybody's favorite, the trash barrel paint-in, 475 new trash barrels, 35 food vendors, 40 block parties. Visitors from 32 states participated in FunFest. 15 tons of garbage collected. Ronnie Hammond's probably has picked up half of that in his life. 3,200 participants at the Crazy 8 events and 125 parade entries. Was that a record parade entries last year? Close to a record. It was a long one. DKA, just some quick highlights. 30 events held last year, 5 new events, more than 50,000 event attendees spending money in downtown Kingsport. I love this one. 19 new businesses added in downtown, creating 43 new jobs. Downtown Kingsport loan program is closed on. 8 loans totaling more than $330,000. And this was just happened at the end of the year and is starting its first phase. Department of Economic Development announced that DKA and the city of Kingsport won a $300,000 improvement grant that's being ran through the First Tennessee Development District to improve the look and feel of our downtown. Y'all have already seen this, but in case you forgot, this is the work of Jeff Fleming, and you know the important numbers here: 736 new families from outside of, or moved here from the 50 states. Median price of a home there, 336, almost $337,000, and you can see all the dots where everyone moved from. Okay, I heard her get up. I'm going to turn it over to Lara to talk about our events and how you can help us.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. As Frank mentioned, I'm Lara Potter, also with Visit Kingsport. I have to say, anytime I'm in a room, I got to brag on these guys. They make what we do look so easy, and it's not. Fun Fest, a 9-day community festival, takes so much effort, and the fact that they received that award above so many other festivals across the Southeast, I'm just very proud of them. So I wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you. So anyway, let's talk about what's coming up in 2025 and the reasons why we need to continue making sure that we are bringing people into Kingsport, having them spend the night in our hotels and spend their money before they leave, and sometimes even think about moving here. You can see this list for 2025. I want to just bring attention to one specifically, like the Tennessee City Management Association. He's not in the room today because he is busy trying to determine who's going to get how much money and when they're going to get it. But Chris McCart was instrumental in making sure that this association is going to be hosting their annual meeting in Kingsport this year, working closely with Chris and some of his team and from others within the region as we plan what this is going to look like, so that when they come to Kingsport, they're impressed with what we do and how we do it, and of course, then they're going to want to return. You can see that we do have a couple of dog clubs on there, the car clubs that Frank was mentioning. It's time for us to think outside of the box. Business as usual is not as usual anymore. Kingsport used to be very corporate focused on their hotels, and that's how we got a lot of the business that we would get through a number of different corporate opportunities. That business has changed. So we started taking a look at what do we have available that is attractive to car clubs. Well, we have hundreds of free parking spaces over at Meadowview. What do we have that's attractive to the dog world? We have the convention center that is unobstructed, and the hotel became pet friendly in 2020. So we have to take advantage of those opportunities that are available to us and what it is that we have to offer people. But now I need to ask for your help. We do have a program that is called Bring It to Kingsport. I say a program, it's really just an effort to reach out to our folks in the community to say, hey, think about what it is that you are involved in professionally, personally, that takes you outside of the area. A meeting, a convention, a gathering, a trade show, whatever it may be, could we host it in Kingsport? To give you an example, many of you in the room, I'm sure, are familiar with Daryl Duncan. Daryl has been involved with the Tennessee Municipal League, a state association, for many, many years. We have been calling on the Tennessee Municipal League for probably about 10 years now, going into their office, telling them that they need to host their annual meeting in Kingsport, Tennessee. We were heard, but it just wasn't going anywhere. Daryl stepped in and he started helping, also saying, well, yes, you need to come to Kingsport. Here are all the reasons why. But he had a presence there. He built respect. They were like, there must be something to this. So, a year or so ago, after a lot of effort, we sat down again with the Tennessee Municipal League. We happened to be there. It was right about a year ago, because we then went to a reception, and Chairman David Hawk was in the room, and we were talking to him about this visit that we just had, and that Daryl Duncan has gotten us to the finish line. We need to cross the finish line. Chairman Hawk was like, I know Anthony, the executive director. He literally made a phone call while we were standing there in the reception and was able to talk with Anthony, the executive director. Well, guess what? Chairman Hawk, you helped bring it to Kingsport. So thank you for your efforts. Now I need to ask everyone else in the room to help do the same. Why do we want to do that? Well, Frank mentioned that $500+ each year that we are saving per household. Nobody in this room wants to start paying more taxes. We know that. So let's keep bringing visitors to Kingsport. How do you do it? Think about what it is you're involved in. All you got to do is come to me and say, here's what I'm a part of. I'll do the rest. I can do all the research. I can do the homework. I can see if it's going to be a good fit. And hopefully you then are going to get all the credit, and we'll make sure that we do all of the work. So if you have any questions about that, you can ask me after. You can always contact the Kingsport Chamber, and they will connect you to me. Event dates for 2025. Mark your calendars. You can see them there. I won't read through all of them, but I encourage you to get out and try to participate in a lot of the things that we do. If you've not attended these, all of it is worth taking advantage of. Okay, so in the spirit of Mardi Gras, somebody in the room was really excited.
We're from Louisiana.
Atta girl.
Laissez les
So-
montants rouler.
Staying in the tradition of such with the culture, the party, and the history. How many of you in the room, I need to see a show of hands, are familiar with the Long Island tea story that originated in Kingsport, Tennessee?
That's good.
I like what I see. I'm going to be quick with this story. You can learn more by going to our website and just as we continue to do the things that we are going to discuss in just a few minutes. But what we were able to learn was in the 1920s, over on Long Island in Kingsport, Tennessee, this drink was originated. 5 liquors sweetened with maple syrup by a man of the name of Charlie Oldman Bishop. I don't know if any of you in the room have a connection to that family, but if you do, please share that with us because we love the stories that we have continued to get as a result of this discovery. We took this information and we were able to launch a campaign. What was our goal with the campaign? It wasn't about the drink. The drink was to tell Kingsport's story. We launched the campaign. We did a press release. We had a press conference. We were able to do news interviews all across the country. We were on morning radio shows all across the country. Never did we imagine that we would have the marketing opportunity that we did as a result of just letting people know, well, we're the home of the original. Because what do? They start talking about Kingsport. We have since had 3 competitions with a restaurant group out of Long Island, New York. We came out victorious. We have worked with local businesses, one of those being Bellafina Chocolates. You can get the Long Island tea truffle at Bellafina Chocolates any given day. They keep that in store. We have worked with a number of different restaurants that are offering more than just the drink. It could be a food item that they are just following through on the theme. There's a mural located in downtown Kingsport on the side of the reserve that you can go and get your picture taken with the Long Island tea mural. But now we need to keep telling our story through this discovery. And I want to introduce our marketing director, Chelsea Ketron, to tell you what are the next steps.
Hi. So back in June of 2023, we launched a Long Island Tea Trail. This lasted for 1 month. Fun fact, Long Island Tea Day, National Long Island Tea Day, falls in the month of June. So what better than having a month full of celebration around not just the drink, but the story. And it was very successful. But we wanted to just give it a trial run and see. These are some pictures, screenshots from our social media. This is the menu that lasted for the month. So as you can see, Lara mentioned other food items. We had popcorn at Cornucopia. It didn't have alcohol. It was maple, it was caramel, and it was citrus. It was amazing. We had a Southern fried chicken sandwich at Backwoods Burger Bar with a maple citrus drizzle on top. Just the nod of maple and citrus qualified you to be on the Long Island Tea Trail. So what are we going to do to continue the telling the story? We're going to bring the trail back and expand upon it. So the trail highlights are going to include stops at bars, restaurants, landmarks. We're going to integrate with some special events. We're hosting events all year round. So we're going to have a presence at those promoting this story and this trail. Ultimately, our goal remains the same. Everything that we do at Visit Kingsport, this is our goal. We want to drive visitor traffic to Kingsport. We want to tell the story of Kingsport, and we want to support our businesses. So branding and marketing here is going to be our logo for the Long Island Iced Tea Trail. We're going to take the original Long Island Tea logo, add some fun elements to it. We're going to utilize a number of promotional channels. We're going to plan to collaborate with local, regional, national media, food bloggers, influencers on social media. We're going to have some branded merchandise for incentives. This trail is going to live digitally. There will be a mobile passport that you will be able to download for free. It will give you a checklist of every stop. As you visit these locations, you earn points. You can redeem those points for merchandise that are branded with this logo or other fun logos still in the works. But it gives something as an incentive for people to make return visits. We know you're not going to tackle the entire trail, or good luck to you if you want to tackle it in one day or one weekend. But we hope that these people will see this as an opportunity to visit and make repeat visits so that they can have something else to do each time and check a few boxes off, a few visits, and earn and unlock another prize each time they visit. Our next steps. We are in the first step. We are identifying our trail stops. We had a great list back in 2023, so we're starting there. Cornucopia is on board. They're already ready to mix that popcorn up, have it in store. She now makes fudge in store. She's going to work on a new fudge recipe that incorporates maple and citrus. We have other stores like Boomtown. I stopped in and she is so excited for the opportunity to create some custom merchandise around this history and this story. So we plan to have not just food and restaurants and bars, but other merchants throughout our city, and not just downtown, but expand across all of Kingsport. We'll continue to develop our marketing materials and the digital passport, reach out to our influencers and our media. And then here's where you all come in. Community engagement. We know that it has to have a buy-in from our community to make this successful. Like Lara has mentioned before, this is not just about the drink. This is about telling the story of Kingsport to people who maybe have never heard of us before. It's about telling the history of our city and getting people to come here and experience, because if they pop in Cornucopia for the popcorn, they might go visit multiple restaurants or take a walk on the Greenbelt, or they might go visit Bays Mountain, and then they're hooked, and they're going to come back here again and again. After that, we monitor and evaluate. Through all of our marketing, as Frank said, we track the return on our investment of everything we do. We shift our focus, what markets are performing well, which markets are not performing well. So we will monitor how this is working, where we need to shift our focus, where we need to shift our funds for promoting this campaign, and evaluate and keep going from there. Lastly, these get passed out. Okay. There's a QR code on each table. If you will scan this, this will pull up every single social media channel that is under the Visit Kingsport umbrella. It includes FunFest, Rocks by the Tracks, Downtown Kingsport, Visit Kingsport. Please follow us. The first place that we will post about these things happening, whether it's events or Long Island Tea Trail, is on our social media. Give us a follow, and you will be the first to know when all of this is live. And I would love for you all to participate in the trail as well. Go to the next one. Oh, that's it for me.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Yeah.
In case you can't tell, Chelsea's also our homeroom mom. Like, she is, if it's arts and crafts or make it look awesome, she does it. Any questions? Anything you guys want to know more about? We'll start here in the Johnson.
Offer a suggestion. Because this is highlighting Kingsport,